Welcome back to Day 12 of Starladder Season 8 coverage here on Beyond the Summit. I'm Zyori. With me once again is Merlini, and we've got Game 2 of 5 coming up for you here. Roxkiss hot off their win over the retry, going to be facing off against the mighty Alliance. Merlini, my friend, any thoughts coming into Game 2?
To say that retry are huge underdogs here, but they did have an upset yesterday, and they haven't been looking as bad. They aren't as bad as everyone thinks.
So, it should be interesting. This was indeed a first pick Nature's Prophet here for Roxkiss, and Alliance did grab Alchemist, Crystal Maiden with their first two, and then a Pugna second pick for Roxkiss. Already a pretty aggressive pushing lineup here for our Radiant side. As you mentioned in the last match, Pugna a hero that they do run on occasion, and one that Alliance will be forced to tango with here.
On occasion, they just grab it almost every time that it's up, and I think most teams just ban it out on the first stage versus Roxkiss. It's very common.
Yes, indeed. Alliance also going to do their second ban on the Treant Protector. Interesting choice. I guess another hero that Roxkiss likes to run sometimes as well. I've seen it, but not nearly as much as they run Pugna.
Roxkiss is known for running, I say Pugna, Abaddon, and Tree are the main three that they run. That's very, I wouldn't say Pugna's unusual, but they value it way more highly than other teams.
Yeah, for sure. And again, that Alchemist is going to be in the first picking phase here. We'll see how Alliance runs him, though S4 has been doing the Alchemist mid, and the last two games we saw Alliance here in Starladder, and I imagine it's going to be an S4 mid once again, but still that flexibility, part of what makes him so exciting. And do Alliance actually have a stand-in here? Who is the Joker? Is that...
I believe it's a stand-in.
Is it not? There's no Bulldog?
Apparently not.
All right. I wonder who it is. Is there a player named Joker, or is it just a trickster? So we'll see what Alliance want to do with their fourth ban here. They are going to take their time. Burn a good bit of that bonus time.
Yeah, Crystal Maiden and Alchemist, very strong roaming duo. Na'Vi likes to run this duo as well, but I have seen S4 play Alchemist quite a few times recently in the mid lane, so unsure as to whether that's going to be a farming Alch, a roaming Alch, or even a solo mid Alch. It could be a loaded Alch too, not really sure. He could get a Weaver if they want to. That is, Weaver and Potom are like probably the most Loda-ish heroes in 6.79. Gyrocopter sometimes too, but it has been banned out. Gyrocopter very good at anti-push, and Roxkiss probably going to bring a lot of pressure to Alliance's towers early.
And there's the Abaddon pick from Alliance. Maybe a bit more of a deny pick than anything else, but looks like that means it will indeed be a farming Alchemist to some degree, as they have their supports all figured out here. Wind Ranger, possibly an option for that off lane, or Timbersaw, both with pretty solid creep clear.
Be a very fast game or a very long game. Not really sure how it's going to shape up yet. Still waiting on the drafts from both teams, but almost certainly a deny pick. Alliance rarely runs Abaddon normally in their drafts. And Visage actually was first banned out. Venomancer banned out in the second phase, so those two supports getting banned as usual. Roxkiss going with their Earthshaker. Earthshaker is really annoying to deal with if you have a lot of melee heroes. Alliance already with two. Really have to watch their positioning, and it's extremely good at bursting down heroes too. If you can catch Abaddon in that fissure and just keep him stun locked while you burst an important hero down, that will go a long way into winning small skirmishes and team fights.
Absolutely. So I think, as you mentioned, either going to be a quick game, could potentially be a quick game here, depending on how Roxkiss want the rest of their roster to unfold. I like that fourth Veno ban from Alliance. Would have been a great support for Roxkiss. He does work well with those pushing rosters as well. Compliments of those Plague Wards. There's that Weaver that you talked about. One of those, probably going to be the Loda hero here. And yeah, it's shaping up to be an Alchemist S4 mid, I think. Just going to need that off-lane hero. Clockwork still an option here as well. He's still in the pool. Probably going to be banned out by Roxkiss with their fifth ban, but still an option for Alliance.
Not really sure what Alliance is going to do for roles, if Joker is going to play their off lane or what. Still very unclear as to what they're going to do. I'm surprised OD has made it this long into the phase. Now, Alliance is, I would say they definitely have a worse draft than Rock's Kiss. Abaddon Weaver is like okay, but the push of Pugna, Nature's Prophet, and OD is very, very strong too. If they get like one Arcane Boots and Mech, they can just continuously push. And Alliance just does not have that great anti-push. They don't have that great 5-man either. So even if Rock's Kiss loses the laning phase, Alliance or yeah, even if Rock's Kiss loses the laning phase, Alliance may still be in trouble in the mid game.
Yeah, absolutely. I would generally say Puck wouldn't be a bad choice here, but they're already kind of committed to that Alchemist mid, I think. And I guess Timbersaw wouldn't be too bad.
Timbersaw's decent at stalling pushes if they want to. I would say Timber's a much better pickup than Clockwork. Clockwork, it gives them initiation, yeah, but they don't really need initiation. They need more AoE and more team fight. Timbersaw provides both of those, as well as being a front line, and he has Abaddon there to back him up too. So they need to buy time for Weaver to farm. That's going to be probably one of the most important things for Alliance, and they also need to defend their T1s early. Pugna's going to be able to siege a lot, but we'll see if Alliance can handle that.
Oh my. Gonna be a Kunkka 5th pick for Alliance. Not sure I saw that one coming. It's kind of an interesting choice here.
It's just going to be Kunkka versus OD. That matchup is not that great for Kunkka. And yeah, he has Tidebringer, which doesn't get owned by Astral Imprisonment as does most spells, but he still will be put under a lot, and he will still miss a few amount of last hits. And being a melee hero is pretty difficult. Even if OD isn't like full range, 600 range, he still can harass Kunkka quite a bit. And they'll most likely just do CM Abaddon out in a tri-lane. That's actually pretty scary, only if Rock's Kiss decides to aggro try, though. If Alliance decides to aggro try against a Chen, it's generally pretty difficult, especially when you have an Earthshaker there to back them up.
But wow, that's a lot of push here for Rock's Kiss, and as we mentioned, Outworld Devourer, a hero that synergizes surprisingly well because of that Essence Aura sustain, as you mentioned, once the Mech comes out, then having the Hand of God as well. That's a lot of sustainability they can bring onto the field. And, well, I guess Kunkka does bring something to the table in terms of anti-push. The AoE from Tidebringer, the Ghost Ship, well, can help clear out those creeps a little bit. So, some anti-push. Acid Spray going to help as well. Well, they do have some tools, but maybe not the best anti-pushing lineup we've seen here. It is indeed going to be S4 on the Kunkka. And let me look at this Joker and see if we can figure out who it is. Check out this Steam profile. Hopefully it's not private. Oh, it's Pycat, I believe. Or
it is Pycat.
Yeah. All right, so Pycat going to be the stand-in here for the Bulldog. It's kind of interesting.
Yeah. I should have known that. Pycat's on my friends list, but I didn't know that Joker was there. But what hero is he playing?
Joker is on the Alchemist.
Alchemist? Okay.
Yep.
So their off lane is going to be they're running 2-1-2. Interesting.
Oh, yeah. All right.
I don't remember the last time I've seen Alliance run 2-1-2.
Yeah, me neither, actually. I was not expecting that. I thought it would just be a solo Weaver in the off lane, but EGM looking like he may rotate down that way. Let's go ahead and introduce our rosters, though. On our Radiant side, we do have Rock's Kiss, and going to be Biz playing on the Pugna here in the safe lane down bottom. He's going to be joined by Yol playing on the Earthshaker, and of course, Go Black going to be on the Chen. Going to be starting off here in the Radiant jungle. In the mid lane, going to have Scandal playing on the mighty Outworld Devourer. And then up top, it is going to be Sadoy, long lane Nature's Prophet, a role he is quite comfortable in, of course. On the Dire side, we do have Team Alliance, well, 4 of Alliance plus Pycat. Down in the bottom lane here, we do have Loda playing on the Weaver, EGM going to be on the Abaddon. In the mid, going to be S4 playing on the Kunkka up against the solo OD. And that means up top, we're going to have Ake on the Crystal Maiden, and Joker, aka Pycat, playing on the Alchemist here in the stead of Admiral Bulldog. So, OD versus the Kunkka in the mid lane. We've talked about this mid matchup a little bit. We've seen more frequently teams ban out Kunkka when they pick OD rather than teams actually picking Kunkka against OD. As you mentioned, it's not really a counter. He's just one of those heroes that can sort of hold his own and still farm a little bit, but he really doesn't do much in the way of stopping OD from picking up those last hits, as we'll see already. S4 going to be very low in terms of the mana pool, and once he gets level 2, probably just going to burn a torrent right away because, well, going to be out of mana anyhow. So he should be able to farm pretty easily. Yeah, there's that first torrent, and yeah, that'll be it. So this 2-1-2 kind of interesting. The classic combo of Abaddon and Weaver going to be down here in the bottom lane. Allows that Weaver to get nice and aggressive, compliments of the Aphotic Shield. And already, Alota going to be under a little bit of pressure. Fissure comes out, and he'll just Shukuchi away, no big deal.
Yeah, not the greatest use of mana, but Yol does have 4 clarities. If Loda were down here alone, they could just push a tower very early. Maybe just get a Basilius up on Pugna, get level 3, and already start sieging the tower. But when Abaddon's there, they can't really do that because Loda can just tank the creep wave. Ooh, he's taking a lot of damage.
Yep. Going to be slightly off the mark with that Decrep combo, but the Aphotic Shield comes out anyhow, so that will thwart some of their efforts. In the mid lane, farm still seems to be pretty even. OD 4-2 against the 5-1 Kunkka, so a slight lead for the OD, but the deny is really starting to add up a bit here as S4, well, still racking up some of the last hits. And up here in the top lane, how's Sidoi doing? 4-0 on the Nature's Prophet, and Pycat is 6-2, so Sidoi having a pretty good time here in the long lane Nature's Prophet role, already level 3, and of course GoBlack having a fine time down here in the bottom. Not too much slowing him down here.
They might go for an early kill on EGM, though, or Loda. Loda actually has an early boost and a Magic 6, so he knows that he may be up under some pressure, and here it goes. They don't even need a smoke.
Yep. Chen going to come around the backside. Does have that Dark Troll Summoner for the Ensnare. And, EGM may be the target of choice. Loda already going to use the Shukuchi. They want to get a little bit of aggressive on Biz, and now they're in a very awkward position as GoBlack comes in. Looks like they are going to go for Abaddon indeed. Yol going to come around, trying to get the path block. Not going to find it. The Ensnare not going to come out quite yet, and that Troll just a little bit too slow. He may catch up to the Abaddon. It is actually 10 units faster than the Abaddon, but he's still headed for the heal. He might be able to make the Great Escape. Going to use a Clarity as well as a Solve, and he is going to be able to survive. So a failed effort here to start things off from Rock's Kiss as EGM heads back to the lane. Very
nicely played from Alliance there. If they didn't play aggressively on Pugna, then they would have just run back into the Troll and then get netted and then just take another Decrep and blast and just die. So I think it was smart of them to just play aggressively on the Pugna. He didn't expect that, and he was forced to back off to the tower, wasn't able to right click, get his spells off, and looks like first blood will actually go to Aki on top.
Yep. Ake as well as Pycat going to be able to commit onto Sidoi and set up for a pretty easy kill. Interestingly enough, Pycat going for the pretty greedy build. 2 points in Concoction, 2 points in Grievel's Greed here at level 4, so definitely a hard farming Alchemist up here. And just a nice little rotation from Ake. Makes for an easy kill on the level 4 Prophet. Looks like Chen up to no good again down here in the bottom lane. Is going to get scattered out by the lane, so not going to be able to secure a gank. But still trying to be active to pressure Loda.
If they don't get a tower or with a kill within like the 7-minute mark, then this bottom lane is a huge fail for Rockskiss. They have very strong pushing lineup, and the longer Alliance holds, the better the game goes for them.
Yeah, and so far the farm is dead even down here. Pugna 14-2, Loda going to be 14-2 on the Weaver as well, so they are all tied up. And it's sort of a 2 versus 3 in some capacity, a 2 versus 2.5 maybe, with Chen in the jungle. But GoBlack already wasting a little bit of time trying to set up those ganks, and both unsuccessful. That does slow him down just a little bit. And his farm isn't bad, but not great either. Loda gonna grab a creep right there, a little pick-me-up.
They're giving tons of Magic Stick charges too. EGM has 8, so next time they want to go on him, he's going to be very difficult to kill. 600 HP out of 720 max. 720 max is a lot to burn through. They don't have that much damage. Pugna is not that high level. Earthshaker, level 2 Fissure doesn't do that much damage either, so I don't think they're going to be able to get a kill if Alliance positions themselves smartly.
GoBlack coming in here. Loda going to be under heavy assault. Aphotic Shield was already used before that fight started, so not going to be able to cleanse. And there it is. Well, Loda going to be able to survive now. Another one going to come out. Pretty short cooldown on that shield.
Yeah, he had a pre-shield up, so it's very difficult to kill him.
Yep, double shield. So again, Loda going to survive. Chen going to waste a little bit more time coming over. And actually, Chen almost fell in the mix. We're going to walk away with about 20 hit points to spare. So GoBlack does walk back to the base, but still his farm continuing to be slowed down by the elusive efforts of EGM and Loda here in the bottom lane.
Sadoi.
Yep, up top. Pycat gonna dive it. He is gonna use the concoction to go in here. Still doesn't have any acid spray, but does have that chemical rage on. He's gonna be able to take those tower shots, no problem. And down goes the Nature's Prophet. That's the power of the chemical rage right there. Pycat just standing in that tower, not a fear in the world, gonna walk away with full hit points. And now gonna rotate mid. Oh, gonna charge up the concoction here, looking for an opportunity to engage on Scandal. He is going to continue to charge forward. Concoction is off, but there's a torrent going to hit. Scandal going to be in a little bit of trouble here. Double damage on S4. That'll be a kill. Kunkka going to grab the last hit. And that is great news for Alliance. OD still out farming the Kunkka a little bit, but now S4 going to get a big boost and a few minutes, well, half a minute to free farm here while OD is in the grave.
Roxkiss cannot let this go to late game. At least even gold. Loda has a good start. He's 0-0 and 0, but he hasn't died yet, and his tower isn't under any pressure. It's still very, very healthy. Kunkka and mid doing very well against OD. Both of them have the same amount of last hits around that 27 mark, and Alchemist is just off to an astounding start on top. Phase boost plus 1,000 gold, and he is still able to get kills on Pycat or on Sadoi, even though he does have 2 Grievel's Greed. So his greedy build is not costing him anything.
Yeah, absolutely. If you look at that net worth chart, Alchemist is number 1. Really, all 3 lanes kind of going the way of Alliance here, as they are the top 3 in the net worth. But Sadoi going to be under heavy pressure here. S4 on his way in, and trying to make something happen. Does not have anything in X marks the spot, but does have Ghost Ship. And, Pycat actually going to get stunned under the tower. We'll get the Chemical Rage off, so he'll be okay for now. Oh, there's the Ghost Ship. It will connect with Sadoi. And now Nature's Prophet going to be in a little bit of trouble here. S4 looking for an opportunity to continue to pursue. And not going to be able to finish off the kill. Dire Courier did go down in the mix, but whoa, the fight's not over quite yet. Pycat going to reinitiate. Now Yol going to be the target, and he's going to fall. Pycat going to be able to finish him off, and now Go Black possibly going to be under a little bit of pressure here. No, they're just going to part ways. S4 just going to run through the tower. So Pycat looking for an opportunity to reinitiate here. He does have Unstable Concoction off cooldown. Chemical Rage coming up in just about 5 seconds. And here we go, going to charge it up. He's coming around the backside. No trees for Go Black. That's an easy kill for Pycat. An early killing spree coming out for the hard farming Alchemist. 3 points in Grievel's Greed now. He's starting to get a little bit out of control. Number 1 on the net worth chart by a huge margin.
Yeah, Unstable Concoction is just such a ridiculous spell. Like, he doesn't even need Acid Spray, and it still does, like, half of Chen's HP. He is level 8 right now, which is also ridiculous, and he has a Midas, so Chen is going to be under a lot of pressure when it comes to the Alchemist just hunting down his creeps, and now Roxkia is kind of forced to go into push mode because they need towers, and they still haven't gotten any towers 8 minutes into the game. And EGM may take a spill.
Yep, he's in a little bit of trouble. We'll get sprouted, but that Aphotic Shield going to be enough to keep him alive as another blast comes in. Nope, that's going to be the end of him. Nature's Wrath from the... Wrath of Nature, pardon me, from the Nature's Prophet. Now Loda. Whoa, Loda just going to get obliterated right there. You're going to get Decrepify, and that will be a Fissure Nether Blast combo on point, and that will be the end of the bug.
Alchemist smoked and stunning up already.
Yep. Gonna charge it up, gonna go ahead on Yol here. Does have the Chemical Rage on, Torrent to boot. And I think this will be a dead Earthshaker to start it off. Down he goes, Biz gonna fall shortly after. That's gonna be a 2-for-0 swing. Kind of a 2-for-2 to follow it up, I suppose, as they just got back from the grave. But Nature's Prophet gonna bump into S4. He is gonna be able to interrupt it. And Sadoi gonna head for the hills. I guess he cancels it. But still, gonna juke the Torrent. And yeah, out he goes. Test of Faith, gonna get him back to the well safe and sound.
Pyke has been playing incredibly well this game, involved in 6 kills as a hard farming Alchemist and still making a lot happen even with level 4 Grievel's Greed. He's not even getting 1 point in Acid Spray. Screw that, he says. And he's just been very active around the map, and rarely do I see Alchemists who go Grievel's Greed actually contribute a lot to their team, and it's a very risky proposition going Grievel's Greed against a heavy push lineup, but if you can just constantly kill them and keep them from grouping up, they try to group up, and usually a 2-kill swing will translate into a tower push, but they weren't even able to get close to the tower because of his rotation with the smoke.
Absolutely right. Now things for Roxkiss looking a little bit more grim. They're the team with the pushing lineup, and they have conceded the first tower kill of the match, as the Lions do finish off that tier 1 down in the bottom lane. Though, EGM and Pycat might not be out of the clear quite yet. There's the Decrep onto EGM. He's not level 6 quite yet. That's going to be an easy kill on the Abaddon. He was totally blocked in. Nowhere to go.
Nice scouting by Goblak.
Yep. Secure that kill. Dire Courier going to come back. And Pycat going to grab a double damage here. So they could try and turn around. Crystal Nova going to connect with Scandal on that OD. S4 ready to press forward. Fissure going to come out, as will the Astral. Concoction charging up. And this could be a stun on himself here for Pycat. Yep. No options. But go black. No, Loda not going to pursue. Yeah, Alliance maintaining
They don't need to
the
take
aggression.
that many fights like in positions like this. If they see Rock's Kiss group up, they can take the fight to them if they can actually catch them. But they're not under any pressure right now. Rock's Kiss is the team that has to group up, the team that has to push. Alliance is more than happy to trade farm with them at this point in the game just because they are going to be so much more ahead in terms of gold and farming potential. And the threat of their late game is just much bigger of a threat than Rock's Kiss's. Gold lead 4,000 for Rock's Kiss, and it's
Alliance.
slowly getting to that point where Rock's Kiss still can't pressure any towers. They still can. It's still very early in the game. They need a mech. OD actually went for a Midas early, so it looks like they're going to scratch the early game push and just try and draw this out with more farm.
Yeah, absolutely. Pugna, the one working towards the mech. He does have the headdress, buckler recipe in the bank. But Midas already out of the Nature's Prophet as well, so they are going to go for sort of more of a late game type strategy. It will be 2 Midas versus 1. Alchemist the only one with a Midas on the side of Alliance, but his farm already just a huge step ahead of the leading farmers on Rock's Kiss, about 2,000 ahead of the Nature's Prophet. As well as the OD sitting around 3.7k apiece on the net worth chart. And that farm just going to continue to get out of control. Looks like he's going to go for a nice aggressive build here. Does have the Shadow Amulet.
Just wrap around from
Shadow
Loda and
Blade.
EGM.
Yep, will be coming out. They're hiding in the trees here. And looks like Yol could be the target of choice. Courier going to fly overhead. And yeah, Yol realizing some trickery is afoot. He does have an Echo Slam. Not going to burn it. Will go for the Fissure. Going to try and pour it out. Not going to be enough. Weaver going to have the damage to finish him off, and that will be a kill. The Wave Alliance now going to be 8-3 here at the 12.5 minute mark. The rampage for Alliance continues onward.
Sadoy.
Oh, Sadoy in a little bit of trouble. Yeah, they're going to dive this tower again. Ake going to use the freezing field. Looks like it will cost him his life as Scandal ports in. And Scandal going to be forced to use the Astral Imprisonment onto Pycat, and that will keep him alive. But Pycat just happy to continue farming up these creeps here. And rotation from S4. There's the Ensnare. X marks the spot. Torrent combo. Ghost Ship as well. Go Black going to be slated to fall. Ghost Ship going to be overkill as Pycat comes in. Going to be a 2-for-1 swing. Alliance, I think, will be happy to trade their Crystal Maiden for a Chen and a Nature's Prophet.
Alliance still very, very active around the map too. And S4 went for early drums instead of an early Shadow Blade, because Shadow Blade is already up on the Alchemist, and now that happens, Rock's Kiss is forced to spend more money on sentries, and no Force Staff, no big items coming out for them anytime soon. And Rock's Kiss, they could have, if they went for like a 5-man push, if they lose like 1 or 2 fights, the game's over from there. So this is a much less risky strat, trying to outlate game them with OD, but at the same time, it is still risky just because Alliance has a Weaver they can fall back on, a Kunkka, and an Alchemist, and only Loda has died once out of those 3.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's a good point. The kills that they've picked up have not been on those high-ticket targets, so to speak. The Crystal Maiden, definitely not one. Scariest stat, I think, for sure, is that Alchemist 5-0-3 here at the 14-minute mark. That is quite the victory. Again, considering that greedy build he was able to open with. Loda in a little bit of trouble. Oh, going to be able to get that time-lapse off just in the nick of time. He was down to just a handful of hit points left, and he does survive. Going to burn a couple of ultis, or at least the OD ulti comes out. Echo Slam not used. Maybe should have used the Echo Slam to secure that kill.
Yeah, that was very, very close. I thought he was going to drop too, but again, they're just slightly behind, and these team fights are going to be very uphill for them unless they engage very well. S4 just cleaving them over and over. Someone may get X'd here.
Yep. Fissure to come in. S4 in the front lines. He is going to get decrept. He's going to take that Nether Blast. Oh, he's going to be able to interrupt the channel from Pugna. A lot of damage coming out as the Nature's Prophet ulti falls, pardon me, but yeah, going to be a massacre for Rock's Kiss. They're falling like flies. Yol going to be the last to fall, and that will be a 4-for-0 exchange. Alliance with a lot of red health heroes, but alas, they will keep them all alive. And they may be able to grab this tier 1 tower kill as well. Pycat in the front line is just going to tank it with that Chemical Rage, and that will be another tower, the Wave Alliance. That's going to be 2-0 in total tower count. So very quickly here, Alliance continuing to take hold of this game. 10,000 experience lead, 7,500 gold lead.
Yep, we see a lot of Midases out. One on Weaver, one on Nature's Prophet. Nature's Prophet actually may be in a little bit of trouble here.
Yep,
where's the X?
Gonna pour it out. Not gonna use it. Yep, and also one on the Crystal Maiden as well. So 5 Midas total here across this match. It's Alliance feeling the lead. They are gonna go ahead and invest in some of those further economic tools.
Again, Roxkiss can't even get close to the TU1 tower. They try to 5-man group up in mid, but Alliance is already there, and with the Shadow Blade up on Pycat, it's just very easy for them to initiate. We see a 3-man rotation up top. No smoke though. They do still have a lot of burst, like Fissure in the blast into Sanity's Clips does a lot of damage, but just not enough to kill Loda that last fight. Ooh.
Uh-oh. Yeah, Loda gonna fall. He did use that time-lapse a bit preemptively there, but will get caught by the Fissure. As you mentioned in the draft.
He did get the tower, though.
Yep, did finish off the tower, indeed. So, worth it. 3-0 in total tower count now. Again, the pushing team, the one on the back foot in terms of pushing. Never a good sign. Nether Blast gonna come out. The Glyph will thwart the first one.
They don't have sentries. If Pycat comes in with the Shadow Blade, they're gonna die, but he doesn't actually have a TP.
Yep. Lion's going to be forced to sacrifice this top tier 1 tower. And Roxkiss going to continue pushing on, it looks like. 4 of them going to press forward. Earthshaker, the only one not with him. And this could be a little bit of hyper-aggression here, depending on what Alliance want to do. As you mentioned, that Alchemist rotating his way up. Does have the Shadow Blade now. Might be able to grab himself a kill if he catches somebody off guard. Absolutely no detect. Well, no, pardon me. There's a dust on the Chen, so they have a little bit of detection, but...
That's definitely not enough.
Yeah, not much. EGM going to be in the front lines here. We'll scout it out. He's going to get fissured in. Loda looking like he wants to pursue, though. And he is going to go for it. Aphotic Shield going to come out. And that top tier 1 tower is down, so Loda going to have a little bit of room here.
Pycat's charging up his stun.
Yep, Fissure going to be coming up as well. Pycat, 3 seconds left. He is going to be able to connect. And it's going to happen onto the Pugna. Now Biz going to be in big trouble. Mech, no, that was Hand of God, pardon me. Mech does get burned before he falls, but not going to be enough. And that will be...
Locked him in with the Fissure.
Kind of a free kill. Yeah, that Fissure, really a double-edged sword right there for sure. Alright, so Alliance now 15-5 here at the 18-minute mark, holding steady with this 8,000 gold lead or so. 10,000 experience lead.
Nature's Prophet working on the Necro Book, so maybe they can start making things happen with Necro Book on him as well as Pugna, but still, neither of them have completed the recipe yet. It will still be a few minutes until that happens. Scandal, meanwhile, has completed his Force Staff, so Roxkiss getting some items. Gold lead still very, very heavily in favor of Alliance right now. 8,000 gold, and Alchemist still has not died yet. 7-0 and 6 on him. Still no TP scroll. Aki smoked up on bottom, looking for someone to kill, and Chen has been rather ineffective this game too. His Hand of God hasn't been able to send anybody or save anybody. He hasn't really been too effective with a send back just because it's so early in the game, and only 1 tower down. And Roxkiss, they definitely feel the pressure right now, maybe looking to take out a T1 in mid, but they know it's very, very dangerous. Alliance could be hunting them down at any moment, and they've been very active around the map too, so they're doing Roshan right now, but from Roxkiss's viewpoint, they have no idea what Alliance is up to.
Yep, and just look at this ward coverage from Alliance. They've got 3 very aggressive wards down, 1 here, 1 right in the middle of the jungle, and then 1 still around this bottom lane, so... They know exactly what Roxkiss are doing, and if they venture too far into their own jungle, Alliance may be looking for an opportunity to get aggressive here. Alchemist going to go for a Sange to follow up that Shadow Blade. And Yol, a little bit of trouble here. X marks the spot. Torrent, down he goes. Kunkka going to finish him off with a Tidebringer to the face. And probably going to be an SNY coming out on this Alchemist. Alright, Pycat going to venture forward here. Invisible, charging up the unstable concoction. Nice Force Staff onto Go Black. We'll keep him safe under the tower. They might have been able to commit to it, but not going to overcommit here. X mark the spot. Torrent combo. Going to be thwarted by the Astral Imprisonment. Well done by Scandal there.
I'm surprised he didn't shoot a boat. If he shoots a boat right as soon as he astrals, or like 1 second after he astrals, he'll hit him with a boat, and then they can just engage under the T3. It's not the best place to take a fight, but if OD stands around 2, that's an easy 2 kill, and they have Abaddon there to heal people up, and they have the Ghost Ship too. But if he hesitates for 1 second, then he's not going to be able to hit it in time.
Yep. So far, Kunkka having a pretty good game, though. He does have that, Shadow Blade now, which is definitely good news. One of those core items on the Kunkka. Of course, using that backstab paired with the Tidebringer for the big numbers. 2 Necro Books out now for Roxkiss. A level 2 Necro Book on the Nature's Prophet. Pugna still unable to finish his, but he is getting close. Just trying to pull up enough for that recipe. And there's the SNY coming out on the Alchemist. So a nice mid-game oriented build here coming out for PyCat. And he can transition into that late game if need be. You like the SNY here, Merlini?
It's good enough. He just needs to be able to survive in these fights. He could go BKB, but there is still like the current defensive decrep. There is still Fissure Block that can kind of screw him over, as well as a defensive Astral. So he can just go that build. It'll give him good damage too, and he can chase people down. He has been just. It actually speeds up efficiency. A lot of people don't think of SNY as, oh, I need to move around the map faster to accomplish more tasks, whether it be farming, whether it be stacking, whether it just be showing up for team fights. That move speed does go a long way into that, and that's why a lot of people get phase boost on Medusa too, just because she doesn't farm very fast, and if it takes you a very long time to travel in between camps, your farm is going to be slowing down, and most people think of Yasha, oh, it helps me like right click faster and I can like chase people down, but it's also just important for being at the right place at the right time. And SNY, I mean, when you're this far ahead, why not?
Yeah. And it'll give him that little HP buffer as well, as we've talked about with Alchemist, just has to be able to survive that round of initial burst so the Chemical Rage can kick in. So, not a bad choice either. As you pointed out, there's still a lot of burst here for Rock's Kiss if they get the Decrepify and a rotation of magic damage. So that will help on that front. But the Necro Books continuing to come out here. That's going to be Pugno, so that will be 3 Necro Books on the field. And Furion going to upgrade his to a level 3 Necronomicon. So more pushing power for Rock's Kiss, though they've been pretty quiet over the last few minutes. And Alliance with that Midas advantage, all those superior farming tools, they're continuing to further that gold lead. Now upwards of about 12,000, experience lead almost at that 15,000 mark. So Rock's Kiss taking a lot of time getting their pushing tools together, and Alliance just capitalizing hard here by continuing to better their farm about the map. They've been clearing out the Radiant jungle as well, so limiting what Rock's Kiss can do in terms of farm potential. Weaver now going to have his Lincolns to follow up that Midas. And he does have the Aegis as well. We talked about that Roshan. No fights have really transpired since then, but Aegis still in the inventory of Loda.
S4 may need a BKB this game just because there's going to be a very high risk of him killing the Necro Books during his boat and Tidebringer combo.
Yep, that's definitely true. And Photic Shield going to come out on S4 again. Alliance just chipping away at this tier 2 tower down here in the bottom lane. There are 3 members of Rock's Kiss up top, ready to push themselves. Pugna and Furion, both with their Necro Books ready. They're going to try and trade tier 2 for tier 2 perhaps, as OD is kind of the lone defender down here. Chen continuing to farm away in the jungle. Alchemist is going to be the lone defender up top, though. Going to kill that Nether Ward, and it looks like he'll be able to keep this tower safe, at least for now. Going to clear out some of these Furion units, as well as the creeps. And that will buy enough time for Alliance to finish off the tier 2 down in the bottom lane, so it's basically going to be a free tier 2. They do a lot of damage to the one up top, but it's still going to stand. So a big victory for Alliance there. And now we'll see not S4, PyCat get a little bit aggressive. Is going to charge forward with the Shadow Blade. Going to throw the Concoction on top of the Earthshaker, but just going to back out as the Fissure comes.
He's running into 1-on-3 situation. That's how far ahead PyCat is right now, and how farmed he is. And Rock's Kiss is still very, very scared.
Yeah, and look at this. They're going to get pinched here as S4 comes in. They might be able to grab themselves a kill. Looks like Sidoi going to be the one that's caught. Torrent, and that'll be a kill. Monster kill now coming out for the Alchemist. PyCat really having a great game here. And now S4 Alliance may be able to just rotate their way to the mid and the top and just start clearing out the rest of these tier 2 towers. Only 2 more remaining.
Yeah, all 3 of their lanes are pushed towards the T2 tower. That shows how much control Alliance has in the game, because Rock's Kiss, they should be the ones split pushing with Nature's Prophet. They should be the ones putting pressure on Alliance's towers, but still unable to just get to that point in the game.
Yep. Loda going to be a bit aggressive here. Is going to hop forward. Will use some Scarabs out. X marks the spot. Torrent combo onto Scandal. Straight into an unstable Concoction. That'll be an easy kill on the OD. Now Biz going to suffer a similar fate. Down he goes. That'll be a 2-for-0 exchange here in the mid lane. Nature's Prophet going to be popping up from his death in the top. But Alliance really just commanding here. 5-19 at the 25-minute mark. So much momentum. No sign of it slowing down. And they are just going to press forward here. Ake going to take a bit of damage from that Fissure. Lotus still taking a super aggressive position between the tier 2 and the tier 3. As the Alliance continue just to slow push this tower down, but it is destined to fall, I think.
The X-Tord initiate is so strong, especially versus Force Staff, because if he X-Tords the OD, there's not really that much they can do to save him. Maybe a Chen send back and a Chen heal. You'll just gonna die on base.
Gonna get melted. Godlike streak here for PyCat, 9-0-8. Kunkka also 4-0-10. Both of them having a flawless game thus far. And they're just going to start chipping away at that tier 3. Alchemist going to burn the Chemical Rage. He's just chopping that wood.
Well, he attacks ridiculously fast with S and Y and Hand of Midas, and attack speed skills better on Alchemist than a lot of other heroes.
Yep. And we'll see Pycat just chase down the Chen. That's the end of the Chen. While the rest of the team just starts chipping away at this tier 3. Decrep comes out on Ake. Nether Blast going to be off the mark. Trying to life drain down EGM. Borrowed Time's already been procced, and they're going to have to head back. Pycat going to stun himself, but we'll take a nice defensive position here in the trees. And Alliance just going to smoke up as they head for the hills.
AC already completed on him too, and that's insane farm.
Yeah.
He has less CS than both Loda and Sidoi.
Yeah, 125, you're right about that.
But he's like 6,500 gold ahead of Sidoi.
Yeah, it's pretty ridiculous. All those kills adding up, plus all the towers, just an absurd amount of farm. Let's look at the gold per minute. 670 on that Alchemist. Holy Toledo. That is a pretty solid GPM.
Considering he's 10-0 and 8-2.
Yeah, that's pretty insane. And Roshan going to be coming up here as well.
The Necro books just don't really matter when they're this farmed ahead. Pycat can kill it and just Chemical Rage it back up. They can just get someone to kill it with an Aphotic Shield. So I guess S4 doesn't necessarily need a BKB just because they aren't a big threat at all. And that's like all their eggs are kind of in one basket with the Necro books because it's okay for team fights, but the way that these team fights has been going, it's just been Alliance rolling over Rock's Kiss. Someone gets stun torrented or X torrented, they're dead. Someone gets unstable concoction, and then they're dead too. It's not like a long drawn out fight where your Necro books are gonna have that much uptime. It's just if you get initiated on, you're dead, and you really need like BKBs, 4 staffs for those sort of things, not Necro books. Necro book is very good if you can apply split push pressure to towers, but as of right now, Rock's Kiss only has had 3 towers down.
Yep, and X marked the spot, going to be used on Go Black, Torrent, Boat. The Torrent actually going to be off the mark, but the Boat will connect, and now Yol going to be the target of choice. He's going to get decrepified. Met comes in, will burn the Echo Slam, not going to do a hell of a lot. Sanity's Eclipse comes out, does a good bit to Alliance, almost finishing off S4. He's going to have 2 hit points to spare as he makes it out. Oh my gosh, that Kunkka living life on the edge. Ake with a nice freezing field, that'll finish off the OD. The rest of them going to get pursued. It will just be a Crystal Maiden for 4 members of Rock's Kiss. And Alliance going to just steamroll their way through that fight. I still can't believe S4 survived that. Literally ticked down to 1 health and was able to survive.
That was with a missed X Torrent and a Boat. The Boat connected on nobody. Torrent did not hit too, but still does not matter. Alchemist actually almost dropped too. He ran into the sentry and got OD ulted almost from like 1,000 HP to 0, but then EGM there to heal him back up, and looks like it's just a matter of time before the GG comes out from Rock's Kiss. And Alliance played very, very well this match. If you look at their lineup versus the push, you're like, well, their push is just like mediocre. Yeah, they have Acid Spray and like Kunkka, but Rock's Kiss weren't able to get to that point, and that's without very, very aggressive early game. Without a very aggressive early game mid like a Night Stalker or something like that. They did it with a Kunkka. They did it with an off-lane Weaver and an Alchemist who was in a one-on-one situation for quite some time. And wow, there's a Rapier.
That's a Rapier on the Alchemist. So Pycat really going
Look
for it.
Look how fast he kills Roshan.
Yeah, seriously, this is just ridiculous. Between the Acid Spray and the Rapier. Yeah, now going to use the Chemical Rage. That's insanity.
Roshan has fallen to the dire.
And is he going to be the one to take the Aegis here? No, they're going to give it to the Weaver. So Pycat ready to roll the dice.
Up?
Yeah, I like it.
400 damage, that's absurd. With Vlad's.
Oop. Yep. Yeah, Vlad's as well. AC, Vlad's, Weaver almost with a Radiance as well. I think he might have it. Is it on the Courier?
Yep.
No, that's a BKB. S4 with a BKB on the Kunkka. So he will take heed to your advice. Yeah, things looking pretty grim for Rock's Kiss here. Alchemist 12-0-10. So having one hell of a game. And there's the engagement. Going to start things off on Yol. Decrep going to come out. Mech, 4 staff backwards. He will survive the initial bit of burst. But of course, Lion still with plenty of tools in their tool bag. Boat going to fly in. Looks like it may be off the mark. Yep, not going to connect, but... Oh, Pycat just cutting through that tower. That tier 3 just going to get melted. He hits hard and he hits fast. Oh, that's going to be the end of the Outworld Devourer in just a matter of seconds. Biz going to fall pretty quickly as well. We'll be able to decrep. Going to buy him a second or two, but not going to be enough. Another nice freezing field from Ake. That'll be the end of the Chen as well as the Nature's Prophet, and that's just a clean sweep. Beautifully executed by Alliance. The entire match, not just that last fight. Pycat really having a good showing there on the Alchemist, picking up an early kill on the Nature's Prophet and still able to go the Grievel's Greed build. Really just a flawless Alchemist game, I guess you could say. 12-0-12. Not a mistake made.
Yep. And Alliance, they're just looking a lot better in these past couple of days, too. They're going with different picks, and they're going with different strategies instead of the Rat Dota lineup. And now, with their early game aggression, their early game rotation, even with a lineup like this, they are a much more formidable team than before, and they just wipe the floor with Rock's Kiss.
Absolutely. Now we're getting to see Alliance coming up in our next match, guys. So don't go anywhere. Don't go anywhere. Plenty more Dota coming your way here on Beyond the Summit. I'm Zyori. With me is Merlini. Thank you for joining us. Alliance versus Red Panda is going to be our third match of the day. Stay tuned.